Hi, welcome everybody. It's Nicole DiCristofaro here for another episode of Soul Talk. I'm just going to get some links posted before I bring on my guest, a very special guest today. In case you didn't see the similarities in our last name, it's not a coincidence. This is my husband we're bringing on today. And this is the first time he's been on the show. I'm excited. Hold on while we get things going. And I got to share everything. So wait for people to join. It takes a few minutes. So when you hop on, say hi so I know you're here.
Hi.
Yes, my guest is in the green room waiting to come on. And the green room is right next to me. And just because he's my husband, he will not be getting special treatment as a guest today. He will be treated like all other guests, except that I made tea for him. And if you ever want to join me and be my guest in person, I will make tea for you as well. Okay, so I'm just sharing this in all the right places. Divine flow, got to spread the love. And we'll, yep, okay. Post and then share to a group. Okay. All right, great. So if you're new to me, I'm Nicole DiCristofaro. I'm an energy healer, intuitive guide, and educator. And I also am referred to as an alchemist for your soul. I do many things in the world. One thing I do is to help people discover and grow their intuitive abilities. So you might have seen some posts from me about that. That's something that I'm very passionate about because I know what it's like to feel doubtful or not be able to trust your intuition. And I really, really love helping people understand their intuitive abilities and help nurture and grow them. So that's a bit about me. And I do these shows every week, Tuesdays at 10:30 Eastern Time on the PPC main page, Project Positive Change. And I share it to all my pages. So you can follow me at Divine Flow Energy Healing. That's my business page. So excited to bring on Gabriel DiCristofaro. And he is a wonderful man. He's my husband, so I definitely am biased. But he really has been an inspiration in my life. He introduced me to the world of personal development many years ago. And that helped me in so many ways. It helped me be a better person, a better friend, wife, family member, and it helped me be a leader and really step up and own my greatness. So I'm really honored that he gets to join and we get to talk about something that's very important to him and also very important in the world right now, and that's mental health. But we're going to talk about how intuition and mental health come together. So Gabriel, come on and join us. Let me roll over.
Hey.
It looks like I'm in front of you.
Here, I'll go over here.
Okay, that looks good. All right.
No,
Okay, everybody. Yeah.
I have to be able to see better for my intuition. Okay, now I'm with you. Okay, let's do it. All right, let me be serious.
Yes, we're going to have fun as well as be serious.
Okay.
So Gabriel, tell the audience a bit about who you are and what you're up to in the world.
Okay, let me settle in here.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes.
My name is Gabriel DiCristofaro. You can call me G for short. I am up to a couple of different things in the world. I have been a marketing entrepreneur for years. The other thing I'm now focused on is public speaking to mental health organizations. I'm an advocate for it. Still finding my voice in the marketplace, because it's pretty vast out there. And then, loving my wife. and growing. This is it. Those are true. Those three things, right? Those are the three things that I'm up to. I am. Those are it. Obviously, I have other mini projects, but those are the big things that I work on.
And why, yes. Oh, hi, Marvy. Welcome. Good morning.
Morning, morning.
And why mental health? Why has that become an important area for you? Can you share a little bit about what goes on for you, or what?
I think because, like most people, when I use my mobile phone or laptop and technology doesn't work, I go crazy and I can't handle it. So I'm just kidding. Although I'm not. We all get frustrated. So why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because there's two reasons. A couple decades ago in my life, one of my family members, went through a rather difficult mental state of life and chose out. That was very difficult. And then a couple years ago, I was diagnosed mentally disabled. I'm sure you can tell, right? I'm joking. That's the real situation that I have to deal with, is you can't really tell on the outside. Somebody's missing legs or something like that. We all go, oh, let's, be aware of that. But you can't really see inside somebody, which is also actually part of the conversation in culture right now. Are you looking at people from the outside or the inside? Mm-hmm. Now, I know you want to talk about the inside, and we can go there.
Yeah.
Right. But the reason why is because I got in massive motorcycle accidents because I used to get the dopamine rush, and I liked, being scared.
Fast.
Yeah, fast and scary. Anything scary. Yeah. And then I switched over to public speaking because it's terrifying. Maybe it's easy for you. Maybe it's terrifying.
Isn't it the number one fear people have, over dying? Yes.
I think they'd rather give
anybody here have a fear of public speaking, give them a thumbs up.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Stephanie. Welcome.
Hi, Stephanie.
So I took on public speaking as my new dopamine rush. Instead of racing motorcycles or snowboarding off of big mountains, that was hurting my body quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So I had this double opportunity. I got to take on a fear, and public speaking was a venue to also talk about things other people were afraid to talk about. Mm. And to me, I feel like hucking myself off an 80-foot jump compared to telling people that I got diagnosed with something that makes my life mentally challenging. I don't know. I feel like I get a lot of benefit out of sharing the condition of who I am and what I am to the world, and people appreciate it. So that's it. Medium.
So we're going to bring in the spiritual and intuitive aspect, because I was having a conversation with Gabriel. Is your ball okay?
Yes.
He has a ball.
An exercise ball.
It's great. Good for the core. So like I said, we're going to have fun. So we were talking about, because Gabriel's very intuitive. Actually, he had a little stint a while back when he was young doing some psychic work, right?
I did.
Right. That was interesting.
It was.
But he's very intuitive, but there's also the dilemma or the added challenge of, as we all do, it's not just anybody with mental health, but we have other voices that fight for our attention, that are like, no, that's stupid. All these voices, the fear voice, the ego, whatever you want to call it. I call them sub voices, and I talk a lot about that in my course. But I was asking him about how he uses his intuition, and we kind of jumped on the same track of how it has a unique energy, characteristic, personality. So share a little bit about how you came to find your intuitive voice.
Sure.
Among the chatter.
Yeah, among the chatter. Well, I think that's why the mental health element to this conversation is important. So if you're a regular person, you're dealing with intuition, okay? Now remember, somebody with mental health issues has it like permanently, but we all have mental health issues at some point. Mm-hmm. We're tired, we're upset, we've had our heart broken, we lost a job, right? All these things cause that same kind of experience. So just so you can relate as a listener, in case you're not diagnosed or you have a brother or sister or some relative who has it, you can understand. That's what it's like for them most of the time. So imagine your regular thinking. I don't know, let's say you're going to the dry cleaners, right? Going to the dry cleaners, I'm thinking about what to pick up. I'm thinking about what to grab. Here's what kicks in, the second layer. And some of you have that. As you grab the item, so I'm getting in front of the camera. As you grab the item to take it, you look at it and you think, is it nice? Does it trigger you? Does it have an emotional connection? Do you relate to that? Sometimes where you grab clothes and you can relate to
you get an energy from the clothes.
Yeah, right.
Pick up on the energy or a memory or
yeah. Right. Makes you feel a certain way. So that is already the next, the chatter already started. That's the beginning of the chatter. That's the, believe it or not, that's the subconscious, just the brain going, you wore that shirt 3 times. Did it work out or not? It did. You should wear that. Or the other. You've worn that shirt a couple different times, and each time somebody said something not cool, you should get rid of it. Chatter. So what'll happen, though, is when you, and this is where I have attempted to work for many years, is the next layer, the third layer, is where we are, right? The conscious mind gets to put on top or insert with all that what we think. And that's where you just have to settle. You talk about it a lot. You have to quiet the mind and just relax it all, let it all go, and be as neutral as possible. And when you hit that neutral space, you can feel, I'm a kinesthetic. So this is important that you talk about this, right? So I have to feel things for some reason, but I also have to see them. So I have to tie a couple of them in. And I think, and this is where the mental health angle comes in, I believe people who have some sort of mental anomaly almost always have multiple prongs. So rather than one thing connecting, it's 2 or 3 trying to connect always.
Yeah.
So that's the fourth layer, okay? That's the layer that I would just say when you're in a state of mental disarray, let's say, right? You're upset. I don't know, maybe somebody at work, messed up something and you're just in a bad state. All 4 of those layers will be there. How does that sound? Does that explain kind of where we?
Yeah. So, and so what I, teach my students and I practice is dropping your emotional energy when you do a grounding, because that gets you back, your spirit back in your body, because when your spirit's disconnected, you're not fully occupying your space, and your intuition, that voice of reason and wisdom can't be heard if you're not within your body, if your spirit isn't within your body, because your spirit is, part of the intuitive energy. So
can we talk about that moment?
Yeah.
So right there, where you talk about it not being in your body, right?
Yeah.
My experience is when that second layer kicks into, is it good, is it bad, that whole thing, the body, the mind does, that's where the leaks happen.
Yep.
That's where the because it goes out to somebody else's energy and experience who's not even in the room with you.
Yep.
And that's where the leaks are and that's where you get wah.
And that's about being present in the now. Whenever we start thinking about something that happened a week ago, a day ago, a month ago, whatever, you're not in the now, you're not in your body. And it really is the most challenging process and practice to be present in every moment. And even thinking about your task list and goals and things, that's a lot of times that takes you out of the present and out of your body. So it is a conscious effort to keep yourself present in the now and keep your spirit in your body. So, I've been practicing it enough now. I can notice it when I'm doing it, because look, I'm not perfect. I leave my body a lot, but
not as much as me though.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
Just so we're clear about what the control group is here. Okay, just so we're clear.
Yes. So, and that's one thing that, I hope to influence Gabriel with, is being more grounded in the body. But I do feel that when there's a mental health aspect to it, it adds another layer of difficulty. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair.
So tell me a bit, like, because we were talking about the energy of your intuitive voice.
Okay.
So tell me a bit about how you learn to recognize, oh, this is my intuition. It's not that other. Like, what did you have experiences? Does a memory come up, or like where you really were like, oh, that's my intuition. That feels different. It sounds different. It's so subtle and quiet and
yeah. Well, let's just first say that is a lifelong exercise.
oh, for sure.
I mean, right? It just is.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like cutting nails. It is. It's constantly growing, and you have to constantly figure it out and shot right there. So, yeah. So I explained the 4 stages earlier, 4 levels. I thought that would help. The 4 levels of kind of the chatter, talk, and then the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Now, when I quiet, I want to call it creativity. Let's call it this.
It is.
Okay.
Intuition is creativity.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's important to put on that. I'm a business guy, by the way, so you should know that. I've run, big campaigns for companies, all sorts of business. I'm a big ROI guy, so you should know that. If she gives me space, I'll take over and we'll get analysis sheets coming in here quick.
No, that's not what the show is about. You do your own show.
However, that's important so that I have to mix my intuition within the reality of what I'm working with and things like that. So I think and this might sound strange, it's kind of like if you look at space in the negative space, to me, it's less about focusing on the intuition and relaxing the other things that are in the way. That seems to be more effective. So I'd say it's a 60-40, right? 60% relax things that are thinking, Aunt Edna said, oh, I shouldn't have, anything, just let all that go. And then the other 40% is listening to it and hear it come again. And I will say this to you. I have had messages come to me again and again and again and again. Mm-hmm. And when I didn't take action, I suffered. I mean, that's really how it is. Yep. I even have business ideas I still haven't, executed that are 3 years old that could have been fine. Yeah. I will share this. I went to Los Angeles when I was 19 and from Boston. And that was a big move. I went by myself. I mean, my mom went out with me for a little bit, but that was one of those, like, I was kind of this is important. So imagine I had just gotten out of jail. I was dismissed. I was with some bad guy and we ended up spending a weekend. But I really had nothing and I didn't know what to do. And it was one of those situations where, obviously fear can guide you. Oh, you don't do anything. Where would you go? Like you freak out. And I just had to be with, I had to listening. That's the important thing, man. It's such a lesson in life, isn't it?
Yes.
Because we want to talk to our conscience, don't we? No, that's not what I asked for. Right. We
argue, we debate, we bargain. Yeah. We probe. And I'm going to be talking about probing next week. So be on the lookout. It's a fascinating conversation. So
sure.
Okay. Anyway, so go ahead.
Yeah.
So you talked to it. So you had this intuitive moment when you were 19.
Well, it was, okay, now this is where it's important to tie it together. My experience, okay? I know what you teach is this, but for me, it's like I said, it's a lot of intuitive with elements of reality plugged in just to make sure.
Of course. Yeah.
Because you have to give in intuitively sometimes, by the way, to stuff that you're like, wow, I would never go this direction.
Yeah.
But that's the direction you got to go and just flow with. So I picked a couple things that tied into the intuition, right? I did. First, I felt, I'm just going to experience this. So in Boston, I was like, okay, what do I feel? Do I feel opportunity out here? And that opens my mind. So if you're a seer, you might say, do I see an opportunity?
Clairvoyant versus clairsentience. So yes.
Excellent. And I felt like there wasn't really a future in Boston for me. And then the logic kicked in. You'll appreciate this. The logic was, of course, why would I stay in Boston and suffer in ice and snow and horrendous weather when I could go to Los Angeles, the land of sunshine and palm trees and,
bikinis.
and bikinis. I wasn't quite thinking of bikinis. I was just thinking of being warm myself.
You were a 19-year-old man. Of course you were thinking. Anyways, sorry, I digress.
Yeah.
I like that fun.
Yes.
Okay. So you were tapped into the feeling of how would going to Los Angeles feel? And that's a great example of using your intuitive abilities, your innate intuitive abilities, and I'm highly clairsentient too, and testing it, validate the feelings. Does the feelings feel like constrained or constrictive, or does it feel expansive? And that's something too that's really shifted. Just as a segue, I am doing a new practice, and as most of you know, I'm pursuing my master's in intuition medicine, and one of the things I'm learning is to have a blueprint of my energetic body and use that to I can always scan and sense things in my body, but having a objective perspective of my body blueprint and seeing where there's any fear or doubt or mistrust in my body. And so something that I practiced or worked on was going to that area and then getting some more information about what that fear or doubt is about. And then asking, I tap into this universal consciousness energy, and then asking, what do I need to know to clear it? And how can I best understand this fear or doubt? And there's sensations that happen within, and they're very profound, but also fleeting. And so I had to really lock into the feeling and remember it and kind of imprint the feeling I had so I could use that feeling as a test of my fears and doubts. It's hard to explain, but
you took me there.
Yeah.
I really did. Was you doing it? I went.
It's fascinating. So anyways, I get what you're saying. So you were in the feeling of Los Angeles, and that felt intuitively, that felt like on a cellular level,
just did.
It felt right.
It felt open. It felt like there was an availability.
Yeah.
Now it is important, and this is something I've learned recently because of mental health. So mental health people with anomalies have to do what? They have to ground differently than other people, right? They have to connect in some level of reality that is not negotiable.
Right.
That makes sense? So stay out of religion and spirit. That's not your place. You got to look at, and here's what I looked at, just as an example.
Yep.
So this was the piece of evidence that tied in with the intuition. Now it's important for you to hear this. Intuition first.
Yes.
Tie into reality second.
Yes.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, the reality was I had done some acting in high school and gotten pretty great reviews. Stellar actually put me in a little paper. I got a little clip. It's pretty cool. So there was a little sliver of evidence with all the intuition. And then, of course, why would I want to be cold in Boston? Well, this is important. Now watch this.
Yeah.
So watch. So let's go. So the intuition happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to LA, maybe be a star. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty slim chance, but we'll see. Okay.
Yeah.
Then over here on this side was the actual experience that kind of tied into it. Was like, well, yeah, he could do that. There's actually a possibility.
Uh-huh. The rational mind. Yep.
Right, the rational mind.
Uh-huh.
And then the last part underneath, I'm trying to get to the camera.
Yeah.
Is you. Is it aligned with? Was I aligned with as a human being going to be out there, going to the warmth, being put under scrutiny, right? Was I okay with the rejection? Those are the things you got to think about.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so I was a yes. So the intuition tied in with the reality,
Mm-hmm.
and then over there underneath was me saying, yes, that does feel right.
Yeah.
So if that helps tie it, that's just my strategy.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I love how you worked through your process, because we all have different processes. So it's good. I think it's good for the viewers to understand maybe how their process could be similar or different and what to tune into. And to Gabriel's story, I mean, of course, I know him since he's my husband, but we are all led on a path. And sometimes the path has twists and turns, and we have no idea where the heck we're going, right?
Mm.
So he was led to California to pursue an acting career, which, you know, was a big unknown, big uncertainty, but he went for it. And that opened so many possibilities for him, that his, you know, his spirit, his soul that knew some of the ways that he could get to live his destiny or fulfill his purpose. What? Did you have an aha?
I got to tie something back.
Oh, go, interrupt me.
So, wow, this is,
I love,
wow. Okay.
These. Yes.
So that you get it. So let's just give you the bullet points of it though. So I go to LA, I'm broke. I get a waiter gig, you know, I'm sleeping on people's couches, this kind of deal.
Typical actor, you know, struggling actor scenario. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I have to leave someplace because I've been on the couch 3 months, and they're like, dude, you gotta, I mean, I'm paying $100 a month, but still they're like, it's a tiny little West Hollywood. Yeah, it was a little part. So I have no place to go. I take headshots. The photographer offers, because I push, to let me sleep on the middle of the floor.
In the living room?
Nope.
Oh.
In the photo studio.
Oh.
Middle, flat, nothing. Like, you know, you're talking flat with a pillow and a blanket. Literally, that was it. And I had to get up at a certain time, and I could not come in until way after business.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. Here's the tie-in. Yeah. I'm at this, since you mentioned it earlier, I did work at a hotline. Now, I don't usually share this, but I think this is a group that can appreciate it, okay?
Psychic hotline. Yeah.
You know, I was pretty skeptical, but I had some roommates and people who had worked at one of these hotlines, and you had to test to get the job. You had to actually, you have to do it.
Your intuitive ability.
Yeah, you had to test the owner.
Yeah.
You had to do a reading for the owner.
Wow.
And I called out things about his son, and he was like, oh my God, how did you do that? It was just fantastic. So I was shocked. I worked there for a year. During that time, one of the other psychics knew about a movie project. Oh. And it was a lead in a small independent film that I got 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And we shot in Arizona for like 6 weeks.
Wow. So if you hadn't have worked there, you wouldn't have connected with that other psychic.
Wow.
And anybody just joining, Shelly, Michelle, hi, Diane. We were talking about how your soul leads you on the path, and you have no idea what's going to happen, what possibilities are in store. And I was talking about his soul's purpose, and he got an aha because he saw how his move from Boston to LA opened up a huge opportunity in his life, because he was an actor for many years in LA. So,
but before that, that job, I was very resistant to that job. I just want you to know.
To the hotline, psychic hotline job, back in the hotline days.
Yeah, back in the hotline
900
days. Yeah, now people are about it, right? You can meditate. People kind of go with that.
Yeah, but back then it was like you were kind of like seen as a charlatan.
It was on the edge. Although I have to tell you, I had people in that group that had been psychics for years, tarot readers, I mean, they did exceptional work, some of them. I mean, exceptional. Yeah. They had no doubt about their skills.
Oh, yeah.
They added value to people's lives. Yeah. Yeah. And that was, I just tied that together. And I got to be honest, my roommate at the time, I had a gay roommate, and I was pretty homophobic back then. I had some creepers back in the day. You'll appreciate this.
Being in Hollywood, even men have creepers, like people coming onto them. Yeah. And
my mother was a roommate. So the three of us were roommates, and they worked at the place. And I did not want to work at the place.
Okay, so here's an example of when you're resistant to what you're being guided to. Perfect example. He's like the perfect student to teach others today. So here it was, everything around him is going, psychic hotline, you need to work there. And he's like, no, resist, right? Who identifies? Put a thumbs up. When have you been in your life and you've had resistance to something that keeps showing up? I have. So go ahead. So
go. Yeah. Did you relate? I mean, do you relate to those times? I'm sure if you think about it, you can see it. So I mean, when you think about it, there's those times. And I really, you know what I've realized? Yeah. And this is what, as I've gotten, a couple decades older, is, wow, it really works to just flow with stuff.
Thank you.
I mean, do you know how hard it is to, well, that's fine, whatever. I float with a lot, by the way. I float out to LA
I know, but I mean, thank you for saying.
Oh, okay.
Not-
Do you want to say it again? Why don't
Yeah.
you repeat it? I think
Yeah.
anything worth,
It's, the lesson is when you flow with, life is easier. You're guided. You're naturally guided. It's like you're like, oh, I'm supposed to go over here for a little while. Oh, I'm meant to go over there. Oh, this is a new scenery. I mean, flow with. And for any of my students, past students watching, I just launched my Intuition Mastery School membership. And the first month, July's lesson is all about abundance and your personal power, but it has to do with flowing with. So if you want to learn that skill, because we all have to practice flowing with, right?
Yeah.
Then I encourage you. I have a special founders rate for previous students. So I sent an email. Check your email. You'll see that offer in there. But thank you for this fabulous conversation. We do have to bounce, but I want you to be able to share anything you want at the end. I posted Gabriel's speaker match profile. If anyone out there would love to have Gabriel speak at their event, he does a lot of different types of topics, but he does focus on mental health and business. Personalized marketing.
Yep. AI marketing.
AI marketing.
AI marketing is what we're getting into now.
So,
and then mental health, of course.
Mental health, yeah. So anyways,
well, I was going to say,
parting words.
Yeah. You were talking about it. We got a minute or so, I take it. So, well, first of all, thanks everybody who has watched. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and who watches the replay later?
Yeah, the replay later. You know, if just hit replay, say like it. I don't know, laugh if you think something's funny.
Comment, so shoot us a comment, question, anything.
The you were talking about the last chunk there, as far as intuition, and I wanted to suggest that if you look at the dynamics of the world, we're talking quantum physics, just for the last moment, I want to get a little geeky on you. Think about quantum physics. Does energy go into things or does it come out of things? Generally, it comes out. It generally comes out if you think about it, right? Volcanoes come out, like things come out, atoms explode out.
You breathe out, but you also breathe in.
No, breathing's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like energy and the flow up. Now, the reason I'm saying that is I want you to think about energy as a river, right? It's flowing. Have you ever tried to take a boat and like stop it on the side of like a river when you're going down and you're trying to go back up? Like you know,
can't go back.
It's very difficult.
Unless you're in a powerboat, but no, that's forcing.
That's forcing.
That's anti-natural.
So, but in your life though, are you building some huge outboard motor to go back up your river? I mean, is that why life is difficult for you? Like still going back there, but life wants you to go that way.
Or the people that live driving their car looking in the rearview mirror instead of looking out the windshield, right? Those are also. Shelly, my top fan. I love you, Shelly. I got chills. Guess I need to step back and look at things. Shelly, can you say a little bit more about that? Like, what's that about? Tell us before we head out here. Is there something, if you don't want to share?
A nugget.
Yeah, you can share a nugget.
You know,
if you want.
No bigger than, a veggie 2 nugget. That's fine.
A pea size nugget?
No, just a pea.
A veggie.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Well, Shelly.
I love chills though.
Yeah, we love chills. So fascinating. Didn't know. See, this is what I like to do on the show is flow with. I don't have a script. I don't plan it. I just tell my guests, hey, we're going to talk about intuition, using your inner wisdom, your divine connection and how that, has what has that brought you or where has that led you in your life? And he had an aha about something, and we got to talk about flow, which I love to talk about, and also about when you're resistant to when spirit or intuition or the divine is guiding you, and how that causes delay and suffering, and for you to feel stuck in your life.
Delay, suffering, and feeling stuck. I do believe that is the way, right? Yeah. Procrastination causes that. So before we go, I want to acknowledge you before we go. Okay. Thanks everybody too, by the way.
Yes.
But I want to say, from where you came a few years back, she was different. You are so generous now. Look at the amount of work. I don't know if you know it because you just see the courses and the things on that side, but she does so much work for her people so you can be happy and loved and expand.
And I love every minute of it. And that's the difference. I love what I do. I'm inspired and energized by what I do. And that's when I know I'm in flow and I'm living my soul's purpose, because I feel inspired and motivated and with endless energy. So Shelly, thank you, my dear. Shelly, what did she say? The universe is slapping. Oh, you get the bitch slapped by the universe. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. We talked about that a few weeks ago.
The universe is slapping me, and I'm not picking up what I should. My intuition has been in overdrive, and I'm brushing it off. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go.
You know it. You see it. You're in it, Shelly.
Just pick one.
And that's the beauty. Yes. And that's, thank you. We get stuck in what's the right choice. You know what? If we pick one, you'll know whether it's the right choice or not. If it's not, you'll be guided to the next choice.
Now watch this, though. This is the tie-up little ribbon.
Yes.
If you resist it, though,
yes.
How long does it take? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe 2 months? Now just think of all that time where nothing happens, where you could have just done it and made the mistake. You ready?
And learn.
I'm putting my mouth where my money is.
Oh.
So I'm working on AI marketing minutes for personalized marketing. I want to do a little web series and stuff, and I've been a little bit scared, but because of you, I'm going to get in there. Shelly, la chance.
Shelly, you inspired. See, look at the magic that happens here on these shows. Well, everybody, I got to go. I got to get on a call, but I love you all. Thanks for joining. And if you have any bits of whatever, yes, we just connected from that call with Gabriel. Thanks for joining live from Seattle, Gabriel. This new Facebook algorithm and the way it works with the video is amazing. No. Anyways, any bits of wisdom or anything that you get from after this show airs, please drop in. We love it. Thank you, Marvy. Thank you, Shelly. Everybody else who stayed on and watched. We love you and are encouraging you to follow your intuition, follow your soul's purpose. That's where you will feel most in alignment, healthier, energized, excited about life. Okay, so let's all do that. Let's make that commitment. See you next week. Bye.